All right, the Padres, they were playing on the road today in Cactus League action against the Oakland A's, which are viewed as like a minor league team nowadays because their owner does not care about winning for the city of Oakland. They have their sights on Las Vegas, even though there's not like a firm plan on what the ballpark is going to look like. They haven't got shovels in the ground yet in Las Vegas. So that whole situation is weird and it's cloudy. But as for today, Padres and the A's, Jeff Sanders, San Diego Union Tribune, he's out there in Arizona, and he was in the press box today, and he tweeted out before the game some grumbling among the staffers in the Hohokam, is that how you say it? Hohokam press box about a lack of major leaguers in the Padres lineup today. And you see this from time to time, like some teams, because I think there's like an unofficial rule. I tried looking this up. I didn't see that there was an official rule out there, but I think it's kind of like an unofficial thing where you should have, half of your lineup. You should have some like good major league representation of your lineup be major leaguers in the road ballpark. You shouldn't just send all minor leaguers to the road ballpark. But for the A's to be, or at least some A's staffers to kind of be complaining like this about the Padres not having the major league representation that they want, I guess, in their game against the A's. That's like the A's. That's just funny to me. The A's should be the last team complaining about another team not having enough major leaguers in their spring training game lineup. Guess what? It's spring training. I don't think there should be any rules about unofficial or official about how many big leaguers should be in that team's lineup on the road or at home. I mean, like at home, I guess I get because your team's fans, they're trying to go see their star players at spring training, get that up close thing. But for road teams, why? Like, who cares? It's a spring training game. Those big players, they don't want to go play at the A's ballpark, the road ballpark, to get reps in when they can just go do it at the facility, ride a golf cart out to one of the backfields, take some at-bats, and then ride a golf cart back into the clubhouse, and they could go chill for the rest of the afternoon. They could go be on the golf course instead of playing a spring training game in the A's ballpark. I was surprised to see that many fans there at that game today with some of the behind the scenes, I guess, video, because they weren't broadcasting this game live or anything. So some of the videos where you could see behind the players, you could see the stands. I was surprised that there was that many people actually there. But yeah, for the A's to complain about it. I mean, look at what the A's lineup was today. Ryan Noda, okay, like I'm a diehard baseball fan, so I know some of these names, but how many names would a Padres fan know of these names? Noda, Zach Geloff, I know who that is, but do a lot of fans know who that is? Soderstrom, I know who that is, but do most people know who that is? Brent Rooker, Miguel Andujar, okay. But then who is Butler? And I know Abraham Toro, but would people know who Toro was? Like the Padres, the representation that they sent, they could make an argument that this was a better representation of major league guys that are more of an attractive group of guys than the A's are. Maybe the only reason why the A's are complaining is because they can't put a good major league lineup together by themselves at home because their owner doesn't care about winning for the city of Oakland. And their president, Dave Kaval, however you pronounce his name, I mean, he's pretty much just laughing all over the city of Oakland, laughing at A's fans. The other day, he put out this post where I believe it was rooted in Oakland at their ballpark. It was rooted in Oakland like a banner around their ballpark. And instead, they replaced that with some of the historic moments in Oakland. And he tweeted out February 28th, "Great looking new sign at the Coliseum honoring our many historic moments in Oakland. The A's 2024 season will be a celebration of over 50 plus years in Oakland. See you at the ballpark." By the way, his comments blocked. Like, you can't comment on the post. You can quote tweet, but you cannot comment on it. The A's have turned off their comments as well because they know every comment there would be negative about their franchise and saying F you to the owner and F you to Dave Cavill. But yeah, like to send out that tweet, celebration of our 50 plus years in Oakland. Yeah, before we're going to leave, we're going to celebrate our 50 plus years in Oakland as we're saying F you to the fans because we're leaving. So this is not, look, it's a Padres mainly channel, but they're playing the A's today. And I just, it pains me seeing that because what happened with the Chargers, obviously here in San Diego, it just pains me to see what the city of Oakland is going through when they have so much of a history in Oakland. They have so many passionate fans in Oakland. So it sucks to see that happen. But by the way, let's get to the Padres lineup that some of the staffers in Oakland were grumbling about today, according to Jeff Sanders. Jackson Merrill, who is one of the top prospects in baseball, not just with the Padres, but in baseball, he's going to be on the big league roster, most likely. Tyler Wade played for the Yankees in the big leagues, the Angels. He's been in the big leagues before. Luis Camposano, the starting catcher. Kyle Higashioka used to catch for Garrett Cole with the Yankees, big leaguer. Cal Mitchell, he's played in the big leagues before. Eggy Rosario, he's played in the big leagues before. Graham Pauley, one of the Padres' top prospects. Bryce Johnson, Mason McCoy, okay. But I'm sorry. Sure, it's not Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. But correct me if I'm wrong, Jake Cronenworth, he was in a road game the other day. I think Xander may have been in the lineup, or at least he was supposed to be in the lineup the other day in a road ballpark. So I don't think this is that bad of a lineup for a road game at the A's when star players who have earned a right to say, no, I don't want to do that. I'll just go get my backfield at bats. Why are you grumbling about an opposing team's lineup when your owner, and I know those staffers don't control that, but your owner doesn't want to go spend on a major league lineup? Like, they're the last team to be complaining about that. But anyway, getting to what happened in this game today, Padres, they win 5-3 against the A's, 4-4. No one cares about the record, but I'm just saying that's their record. They got off to a slow start collectively, but there you go. Jackson Merrill, he has been a topic of conversation. He went 0 for 3 today. And Jim Russell, John Schaefer, I was just listening to their opening segment of John and Jim, and they were asking, like, what if Jackson Merrill struggles this spring? What if? And I get it. They're rooting for Jackson Merrill, and they're just asking the question because they're giving their honest takes, and I respect them for that. But what I would say is, I mean, he's probably going to make the big league roster if he struggles because right now it looks like he's struggling, right? He's hitting 182. Jim Russell was mentioning, oh, he's hitting 182. His OPS, 630. Yeah, it doesn't look great. But if you look at the positive side and you like dive deeper into it, he's only struck out once. He's reached base in 3 of the 5 games that he's played in. He's adjusting to the outfield, and it looks like he's been good in the outfield. It seems like he's putting together good at-bats. And he's still going to have probably another, 30 at-bats this spring. So there'll be more of a sample size. And what I care about is stuff that we're not necessarily seeing. I'm not there in Peoria seeing what he's doing on the backfields. What work is he putting in the gym, in meetings? Is he asking questions about certain things to the coaching staff? What does the coaching staff think of him? What does the front office think of how he's going about his business? It's not all in spring training. It shouldn't be all about, okay, how many hits did you get in today's game? How many hits did you get overall in spring training? And I'm not comparing Jackson Merrill with Shohei Ohtani. I'm not saying Merrill is going to be the next Shohei Ohtani. So please don't spin it that way. But Shohei Ohtani, he sucked in his first spring training. Absolutely sucked. Pitching, hitting. There were people questioning, should he be in AAA to start the season? He doesn't look ready. And he ended up being a pretty fine baseball player, right? I know we wish we had Shohei Ohtani on our team, not the Dodgers. Remember Tim Lopes, San Diego Padres infield prospect. Or I shouldn't say really prospect. He was more just like a AAA fill-in guy. Was it last year, a couple years ago? I think it was last year because Odor came in and Lopes was battling for that spot. He hit over 300 in spring training. And what happened? I don't think he ever made it to the big league level. So it's not all about what was your average in spring training. Miguel Andujar for the Oakland A's, he's tearing it up in spring training. Is he one of the best third basemen in baseball? No. So, like, results, it's more about the process, in my opinion. It's more about the process than the results in spring training. Now, if he's hitting 182 on March 13th when the plane needs to go to South Korea, I still think he's going to be on the plane. But yeah, that'll be a little bit more worrisome because you'd think that his average would be a little bit higher. I know it's spring training, and we don't like Tatis. If you look at his average this spring, I believe it's not good at all. But are we worried about Fernando Tatis Jr.? No. And so spring training, I think we say we should read into that. If it's good and if it's bad, then who cares? Like Joe Musgrove, he's not pitching well, whatever. I'm not worried about Joe. And that's true. I'm not worried about Joe. And so I still kind of have that with Jackson Merrill. Now, Joe, he's proven at the big league level. Merrill has not. I understand that. But February 29th, I'm not sitting here worried about, oh, Jackson Merrill, he may not be ready for the big leagues. I can sit here and be worried about just the overall roster construction. Like, oh, man, the outfield situation, even with Jackson Merrill, with or without, I should say, doesn't look that great. It would be much better with Tommy Pham or an Eddie Rosario or Adam Duvall because the Padres do have room to spend on at least one more major league veteran outfielder. They do, at least according to Fangraphs, and you look at the CBT luxury tax, they do have room to spend. I guess it's just a question of do they spend it on the rotation, which doesn't seem like they're doing. It feels like they're more like aiming towards outfield, but I'm not the GM. I could definitely be wrong on that. But right now, I mean, yeah, it's Merrill, Tatis, Azokar, Profar, and Oscar Mercado is the fifth outfielder, or Cal Mitchell, someone like that. And to answer John and Jim's question, what if Jackson Merrill struggles in spring training? Well, let's say he doesn't make the roster. Then one, that would be a surprise. And two, okay, so then does the outfield group look a lot worse? I mean, you'd like to have Merrill there, assuming that he's going to play okay. But if you don't have Merrill there, okay, well, the outfield would be Profar in left, Azokar in center, Tatis in right, and then you'd have Cal Mitchell and Oscar Mercado as your two bench outfielders. I mean, it's not great. Or maybe you have Tim LaCastro as one of your bench outfielders instead of Mitchell or instead of Mercado. One of them take out, you put in LaCastro, whatever. It still doesn't look that great of an outfield picture, right? So my point is I'm not super focused on Merrill right now. I'm just focused on, like, can the Padres make an outfield addition? I'd like to get a major league veteran outfielder in here because I like the outfield situation a lot more, as I was saying yesterday in that Tommy Pham video. I like it a lot more with Pham in left or a vet in left, Merrill in center, and Tatis in right. And Merrill, regardless, I think this is another question. Like, is there too high of an expectation on Merrill? Too much pressure on him? He's 20, doesn't have the big league experience, doesn't have a lot of games, even in AA, has no games in AAA. Is there too much pressure? And I don't really think so. I mean, he has a high standard for himself. If you heard post-game, that spring training game, I believe, against the Cubs over the weekend, when he had that two-hit day, he thought, this should be what it is every day. Winning baseball. We're trying to build that culture here. Like, good quotes, right? Mature, confident. And so he has that high standard for himself. So I don't think we're putting too much pressure, or Padres fans or the Padres themselves are putting too much pressure on him. And where would he hit in the lineup, even if he was playing well? Is he hitting at the top? No. He's going to be hitting in the bottom third of the order probably, right? So I don't think that's putting a ton of pressure on him. I think that the pressure is more on guys like Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Seong Kim, Jake Cronenworth, the top five there, to perform better collectively than they did last year. And if they do that, then the Padres could be in a pretty good spot offensively. And then you get what you can get offensively from Jackson Merrill when he's getting his first taste of the big leagues. Remember, I know Tatis and Merrill, I shouldn't even compare Merrill to Tatis because Tatis, I think, is the more talented player. But remember Tatis when he came up? Yeah, different circumstances. They weren't a contender in 2019, but remember what happened opening day? They put him at the bottom, I think, bottom third of the order. He was not at the top. They weren't putting that pressure on him right at the right out of the gate, hit him third or hit him second, hit him lead off. That's not how it was. They gave him some time. And that's, I think, how it can be with Jackson Merrill. So I wasn't really planning on talking a whole lot about Jackson Merrill in this video, but there you go. If you have any thoughts, feel free to put them in the comments.